Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Fresh Air Podcast. The Avengers assemble. I got the whole squad in here.
Yeah,
and I'm wearing a suit.
2 black, 4 white.
Yeah, there we go. Let's do it. Tell us about Ukraine, man. What was that like?
Ukraine, I mean,
fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
That was easy.
It was easy mode. It's a bit sketchy. Like you hear what's actually funny is when you talk about Eastern Europe, you hear all these stories about how Eastern Europe is like the promised land of girls and all this kind of thing. And it's half true and it's half completely false. I think a lot of the guys, especially on Twitter, who are semi in the dating space, etc., and they talk about Ukraine all the time, a lot of them are truthfully low-level dudes going to bang low-level girls. That's the absolute reality. The idea that you're going to go to Ukraine and get a 10 out of 10 beauty queen with $100 in your pocket is a lie. It's a lie because there's mob bosses, there's big money, there's big G's everywhere in the world, right? So you're not just going to rock up in one of these countries as a nobody and pull it off. Status is important everywhere. Game's important everywhere. And are there more girls who overall are more traditionally minded? Yeah, I'd say so. But also, if you're a bitch, you're a bitch as a dude.
Right.
Like, and that's the truth. And unless you're going to go to Colombia for $10 girls or Thailand, then you're going to need some game. Those are the only 2 places on the planet you're not going to need any game. Eastern Europe is the same deal, man. Like I live in Bucharest, Romania, and there's Lambos, there's Raris. You go to the club, there's bottles popping. It's all going off. You can't just turn up and be a dork. It's not like that.
Right.
So
I'll tell you what, the one thing I noticed, the big contrast I noticed when we're hanging out in the Ukraine between Ukrainian women and say women here, right, was that a compliment, a genuine compliment, like calling a woman beautiful or giving her flowers, goes down incredibly well there. Like they are genuinely like blushing and genuinely flattered if you are, gentlemanly and courteous and call the Uber for her or pick her up in your car, get her flowers, pay for the meal. And you kind of want to do that to those. They're actually genuinely pleasant. I experienced that. I know you experienced that.
A lot of pleasantness.
A lot of femininity, a lot of pleasantness.
Yeah.
So like, it's in a weird way, parts of like the game are like flipped, like completely opposite to what you do here.
Yeah. Well, you know what I noticed is they talk about how loyal they are and all these other things, but Andrew's right. They're loyal to the guy they pick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you still got to be that guy. It's just that they act right when they show you attention. Here, you can go on a date with a girl and she might be on a 60-year-old man's boat tomorrow.
Yep.
Facts.
And so, but the picking part or the choosing part is still, I would say, pretty close to the same.
yeah, the picking part's around the same. But if you get them, I think they're higher quality. Like I had people
Once you get them.
I had people visit me in Romania, and we went to the club, and we all picked up brand new girls. And in the morning when we woke up, they were all like cleaning the house and shit.
Damn.
And people were like, "That would never happen in America. Like they're just tidied your whole house up." I'm like, "Yeah, because they're chicks, and chicks just clean over here. It's just what they do, But getting them ain't easy. It's not any easier than the West. Really.
I was going to say, do you think that's a cultural thing, or do you think that's like a socioeconomic thing? Like, is it like you've got a lot of money, so they're going to like invest more into you?
Yeah, their end goal, the end goal of a woman in Eastern Europe is to be a mother to a rich man.
Yeah.
That is what they want. The whole idea of career woman's
a wife
garbage.
to a rich man.
A wife to a rich man. Sorry, that's what they want. They want to be a wife to a rich man, and that's their end goal, and they'll act accordingly. So when you enter relationships with them, if you're that guy, if you're the guy they choose, they have a more wholesome end goal. It's very rare you'll see an Eastern European girl say, "I just wanted sex," or I don't know what crap do they say here. All the crap they say here. They don't say that. They'll date you genuinely with the intention of trying to marry you. And
I've been told getting a first night lay is extremely difficult in Ukraine.
It's just not easy.
Like,
Well,
not if you want
I mean,
that's what people told me. I never been, so I don't know.
So if you do find one that wants you in that scenario, should you bring them back or should you leave them over there in Ukraine?
That's a good
you
question.
can leave them.
That's a really good question.
They still message me, all of them.
We've got wives everywhere.
But you know how many women from Eastern Europe told me happy birthday today, bro?
Damn.
A lot, man.
The Slayer, Justin. Okay.
Oh no, I'm just saying. No, that's
Yeah.
how they are. It has not. I mean, has something to do with me, maybe. But yeah, that they are like that.
Bro, you got to
For
beg
sure.
for happy birthday here in Miami.
If
It's your
they
birthday,
even-
nigga.
Yeah, it's your birthday.
Coming to your table for free.
Yeah. No, give me a bag for your birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to me, motherfucker.
So I got a question for y'all after this. I'll just read this real quick. And I got
Well, hold on. Before we read that. So, okay. So, what is the biggest contrast I would say between the girls? Because you guys are here. You guys live here in Miami with us. You know,
Right.
you guys are up
Yeah.
there in Midtown, which is I always say people, all the hottest girls are actually in
It's
Midtown,
the
not
best.
in Brickell.
They're not on scholarship yet,
Yeah.
bro.
I'll tell you where they are. They're,
And-
they're in the Midtown Target.
And then
Farm League.
Andrew, you've been here. You've been
It's
here
the
for a
farm
bit.
leagues, bro.
We told you about that one. And Andrew, you've been here for a bit. What is the biggest contrast you would say between these Miami chicks here, right? Because it's arguable that we have the hottest girls here in Miami in the United States versus Ukrainian women. What's the biggest takeaway you would say distinction?
If I had to make my distinction, and you guys might disagree with me, I'd say there's a bunch of beautiful women in Miami. They're definitely easier to sleep with,
Yep.
but they'd be harder to retain.
Yes.
And that's because the ideals that's instilled in their mind are less congruent with a relationship, right? So if you get with a Ukrainian woman, you say, look, you don't have male friends. You don't go anywhere with guys. She's like, oh, of course. To them, that's normal.
Yeah.
Whereas over here, they'd be like, oh, but he's my friend. I only fucked him once, and all this sort of crap, right? So
Yeah.
it's just that different mindset.
Yeah.
Overall, there's definitely a bunch of hot chicks here. There's a bunch of hot chicks there. I wouldn't even say one's that much easier to get than the other, but Waller just nailed it. The reason they all sent him a happy birthday is if you make an impression on a girl in Eastern Europe, they'll remember you.
Right.
Whereas if you make an impression on a girl in Miami, you got 48 hours and then your history.
That good impression.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
What about you, Just? What's your take on the difference between the two?
He's dead on.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's dead on. Like they pick the same way, but that girl in Eastern Europe, it's just a better breed of girl. It's like it's what
The appreciation is there.
yeah. Are you gonna mold something from dirt or are you gonna mold it from diamonds?
Bam.
Yeah.
And it's the quality of the girl you're molding. You know,
Perfect.
so
Cool.
That's
Yeah,
the difference.
that femininity.
It's
more,
there,
kind of more traditional values in a way.
and they want it. They want
Yeah,
that.
They want it. The
They
other thing I
want that.
noticed is that you'll find like really like dime pieces just sitting around on a park bench and
Right, they're waiting.
like,
And
waiting
that-
to get
and
asked
that-
out on a coffee date.
And that is the same thing. They want you to take control.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that actually Shooter's girl taught us very early on the second day.
Yeah.
And from then on, we walked up to them, said, hey, you're coming with me. They nod and go.
And they follow you.
And if not, they wouldn't, but they generally do.
Yeah, we were operating with cheat codes because we had a local contact. His girl is Ukrainian. She was just
Yeah.
like she's betraying her own team.
She's gold. Oh, yeah.
Giving us all the tidbits, like,
Yeah.
She's the
say,
best, bro.
do
She's
this,
the best.
Do that, and we're like, this shit fucking works.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
shit that you would never like get away with in the States, probably.
Well, that's like I was
Yeah.
saying, like picking her up in your car or getting her the lift to the date, like like leading, like you
Little
just said,
stuff,
like,
yeah. You
little
lead-
little subtle things like that.
Right.
Yeah,
really
you
make
could
a
be
difference.
cheesy in Eastern Europe. You can say cheesy stuff. You could just message them and say, you're my girl now. Don't worry, we're forever. Like on date 2.
Right.
Like they like that.
Yeah.
You could be more on. I don't know, and I don't know if that's an English Google Translate thing, or I don't know if it's just they just like it. I'm not sure what it is, but you can certainly be cheesier. But the picking aspect is basically the same, and I want to make that clear to
It's
the
very
guys
much,
who think
yeah,
they're just
you're
going to
right.
rock up to
it's
Ukraine
not
and
gonna
get all
happen.
these chicks.
No.
Not at all, right? If you're a guy who gets laid here, you get laid there. If you're a guy who doesn't get laid here, you won't get laid there. But if you can do it, if you are looking for a wife, it's better. And as regards to Fresh's question about bringing them back here, I don't know why you'd want to bring someone from that culture to a system which is designed to destroy you. The system in the West is designed to destroy men on every level. And I know my solution, because people ask me, Rollo could talk about this even more than me. People ask me all the time, what's the answer? I agree with you, Andrew. What's the answer? And the only answer I can come up with is leave America, which nobody likes. But truthfully, it's very hard to have power in a household here in the United States when she can destroy you at a whim for no reason. How can you be powerful? I mean, what can you say and do? If she's the one with all the power, she's the one with the bullets. So it's difficult. If I meet a girl in Ukraine and we fall in love, I'd rather spend the time texting her and FaceTiming her and flying over there now and again, knock her up, get myself 10 Ukrainian sons, bam, 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 and shield her from the degeneracy.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
And I want to say this real quick too, because you guys brought up an excellent point. I didn't want to interject until all of you finished, but you guys were talking about how being a traditional man won't punish you like being a traditional man here. If you walk up in the United States and give a girl flowers on her first date or treat her like a gentleman or whatever it is, you're more than likely you're going to be punished for it, because a lot of Western women don't appreciate these gestures, even though they say, oh, I want you to give me flowers and treat me like a lady and all that other stuff. But 9 out of 10 times, if you do that, you're going to get put in the friend zone category. You're going to be put in the nice guy category, and she's going to punish you by withholding sex or whatever, or leveraging sex for compliance. We talk about that all the
I
time.
want to say something as well. That, like,
Oh, go ahead.
for anyone who's like hearing that, don't get confused. We're not acting like simps out there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
like when I say we're being gentlemanly, but we're
Yes.
still being
You're
like,
gonna give them a box of chocolates and
Yeah.
flowers
Like,
on
we're
their
We're still
birthday.
being dominant and
we're still being,
masculine.
we're still being
Yeah.
men.
Oh,
yeah.
You know,
You guys, you gotta adapt your game for where you go. Like
100%.
certain countries have certain values and certain things that you gotta follow, and you're not like changing who you are. You're just adapting to that situation.
Right.
And in Ukraine, women are more feminine, so you know what? If you act a certain way as a gentleman, it plays to what they want, and once you get them what they want, you get what you want. That's what
So,
I'll say.
and the other thing too is and I say that because we went viral about a week ago because I asked the woman, well, you want a guy to do this, this, and this, right? You want a traditional man? Yes, I do want a traditional man. Well, are you a traditional woman? And then they really didn't have an answer for that because they're not. And what I've noticed from like Western women in general is they want you to, you know, stick to your masculine roots, be a gentleman, open the door, be confident, authoritative, dominant, be a leader, etc. All these things, but they want to absolve themselves of their traditional feminine responsibilities, which you guys were discussing earlier. And that's why I've always said, I tell guys in the West, a woman has to earn chivalry from you. You know what I'm saying? It's not just given. Whereas like in Ukraine, you could potentially just give it because she's a feminine woman off rip, but these women aren't necessarily feminine here in the West. They're traditionally feminine, which I always laugh because by that logic, well, let me just wear a dress and a skirt and say, hey, well, act masculine when you act feminine. That's kind of the logic Western women operate on. And being a nice guy here punishes you versus being a nice guy there, obviously, while still maintaining frame, being attractive, you know, being dominant will actually get you somewhere versus here, you know, you tend to get punished for doing
do you
shit
think
like
women respond more to like dark triad traits here in the West as
Absolutely.
opposed to
I think so.
outside,
Yeah,
of, the,
100%.
outside
Yeah.
of the United States?
Like for
Yeah.
example, if you go to Colombia, right, you did what you did here to get girls there, they'd be like, "What's wrong with you?" Like it would
Yeah.
compute. Versus if you go to like any state, you know your dark triad methods, they
Mm.
work all the time. So
I'll give you a perfect example of this. He and real quick, and I'll go to Andrew. Perfect example. He brought two girls from Mexico came to hang out with him. I'll never forget this. One girl and she brought a friend.
Big
Yeah.
pimping.
Yep. And
Bad boy.
the friend met me, and I ain't gonna lie, I was negging her a little bit. Hey, you're short. Or I think I made fun of her shoes, whatever, right? Shit that typically wouldn't be that bad with an American girl. She was extremely offended, guys.
Yeah,
she didn't like it.
She got hurt.
She got
was like,
hurt.
how dare you?
Yeah, she was like legit, like, you know, like,
How dare you?
and she didn't like it, and she ended up not fucking with me after, you know, and the lesson learned. But that dark triad stuff a lot of the time doesn't work with, you know, foreign women that are traditionally feminine. So sorry, Andrew, go ahead. I just want to throw that in there.
And you're well traveled, Andrew, so you know how to move.
Yeah, it definitely varies from country to country. And if I had to try and surmise it, I'd say that girls in the West, they're fucking with you and they're hoping and looking for fun. That's what they're looking for.
Yes.
Whereas I think in Eastern Europe and these countries, they're messing with you and they're looking for a future, and they're completely different things. And that has a different mindset. And it also means they characterize you in different ways. You'll hear all the time that Eastern European girls are gold diggers. I don't know if you heard that. You hear like Russian girls love money, all this kind of stuff. Well, they don't want to have kids with a broke boy. You know, so like a lot of it isn't even about trying to get money out of you for handbags, but if they can see you're financially secure and you can actually provide for a family, and then you start talking about a family, they love that shit. They're like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. They're actually hoping for a future and a family, whereas I think over here, they're just hoping for fun. A girl will sleep with a guy knowing that there's zero future, but it's fun for a few days, it's for a few weeks. It's very temporarily minded. And that's the big difference between the mentality of the two.
Facts.
And that's because there's no careers over there. You have to understand their mindset. There's no career, there's no job, none of that crap. The only way they're ever going to have a real healthy lifestyle is via a man. And they understand that. So they're going to play their role to try and get it. They're not going to be out here like these Western girls trying to make a job, make their own money, all this crap. None of that exists. So it just changes the mentality.
And Rollo, I want you to.
I think you told me as well that there's like there's a stigma there of like dating a single mother, for example. Like you would never see like Eastern European man shacking up with a single mother.
Never.
Like you would over here in the West.
Never. And that's why even it's funny, like if you walk around Romania or Poland, you'll see a woman with a stroller, but she's still hot. Her body's back. She got some fake titties put in. She's a 10. Like it's crazy. And it's because she needs to keep her man, because if she loses her man, no one else is going to come along and be second dad to that kid. Nobody's interested. There's too many hot girls around. Nobody's interested in playing that game. And it's a different mentality over there. They do really believe in trying to keep their man. They're more tolerant of things like cheating, etc. If you take care of them, they have a mindset which is very much like, look, I'm taken care of. He's my man. I get this, this, and this. So I'm going to pretend to not see that. I'm going to try and do this. Da, da, da. I've never had a girl in Eastern Europe refuse to make me coffee, refuse to make me dinner, refuse. I've never had it. I've never had it ever. It's just not the
Yeah,
mentality.
he's
there.
absolutely right.
Y'all were laughing at that guy yesterday when I was on, who was saying that was it idle hands or the devil's playground. It's like maybe they need to be preoccupied right now.
Yeah.
In other countries, maybe they are more preoccupied.
Speaking of other countries, I think that one thing I would say is about America is Miami, LA, New York City. That's an outlier. It's another country in itself. Because I can tell you, like, we put these buildings up all over the country. There are good girls in America.
For sure.
They're in the small towns.
Yes.
They're Andrew's version of Moldova.
Yeah.
You know, you go to Baton Rouge, or you go to a southern town, or like a town in Texas. Those girls will get in line.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you are that guy, they want that too. So a lot of these guys watching the show, they see the girls that come in here, these Miami girls. It's a different kind of girl.
Yeah.
Completely.
Mhm.
So those guys have hope. Like, if they hold their frame, they take care of their shit, they pass all shit tests and hold what they've got. Look, I know for a fact you can make a girl, and Sterling knows that what I'm talking about. You can make a girl do what she needs to do.
Just don't get married though.
You can build a woman
Don't get married.
for sure.
Yeah, you could definitely build a woman in the
Yeah.
West. I agree. You know, it's a little riskier, harder,
Right.
but you know, because you have all these conventions in place that can fuck you up.
Right.
And she might agree with these conventions, but I agree with you that it can be done.
It can be done.
And we say build a woman for a reason, because every single woman, no matter whether she's from Poland, Ukraine, or the United States, is built. You do not find good women. The
Thank
idea you're going to
you.
go out there and just
Thank
stumble
you.
upon
Yes.
some
Totem.
perfect creature, that's a fallacy. And that's a fallacy you need to remove from your mind instantly.
Yes, you build a good relationship, you do not find it. It's not. There's no such thing as a turnkey relationship.
Correct.
Good point.
That's
Absolutely. You have to build it, and that means you have to be man enough to build one, right? That's just the reality of it. So all these people who are out there constantly looking for a girl who behaves perfectly. And I've heard some stupid advice from a bunch of other people. I don't want to say names. I had some guy with a blue check mark message me on Twitter, and he's like, look, I'm trying to find a girl who understands to behave right, and I'm trying to find a girl who's done the self-work and is introspective and has been to therapy and understands. I was like, bro, I don't know what planet you're on. You can't even get a girl who's hot.
That's
Let alone a girl who's hot and been to therapy and is going to listen to a dork like you.
Yeah.
That's the reason girls aren't listening to you, is because you're a nerd.
Yep.
Right? That's the reality of it. If you want a good relationship, you're going to have to build a good relationship. And females aren't stupid. You know, for you to be authoritarian, for them to look it up to you with authority, you have to show some competence. They're not going to completely bend over and comply with you just because you have a dick. Right. And that's what this TragCon crap is. This idea that, well, I'm a man, she's a woman, so she obeys me no matter what. Most of you men aren't men.
Yeah.
And that's why she doesn't listen to you. Because I'm telling you, if you meet a woman who's half good and you're the big G, she'll behave.
Shit goes